St. Patrick's Day on Friday, that's a great holiday. And obviously the hoop tourney. I tell you, they've done an unbelievable job based on, the first part of their year. They're playing every game on the road. That's something pretty cool. And for them to be able to go play in Orlando, I hope that everybody comes out and fills that place with Gators. That's pretty cool. And feel sorry for Sully. You guys remember when y'all played like Pee Wee baseball or Little League, and you had to play in these? Well, you guys probably don't. Playing these cold days, and you hit, and it just like your hands are killing you when you make contact. But that'll be a fun game tonight. A lot of good stuff going on. Best time of year. And no, I can't fill out a bracket. It's illegal. So don't ask.
Fill it out in your head.
Yeah. There was a time when it was really easy because you just put UCLA at the end, right?
It's a long time ago.
Yeah, well, that is a long time ago, come to think of it. It was one of the greatest games. We went, watched the University of Montana play UCLA, and Grizzlies had a good team. Judd Heathcote was the head coach. Went from there to Michigan State, and had this guy by the name of Eric Hayes, had 32 points on UCLA. David Myers was guarding him, and it was in Portland in the regionals. And Grizzlies ended up getting beat 67-64. And it was the last championship run by John Wooden and the UCLA Bruins, I think 75 or something like that. And no, that was awesome. That was awesome. All right, we ready to go? Ready to talk some football? Injuries? Do you want to start there today? Okay, good. Rick Wells' surgery went great. Kavaris is still out. Luke went in, got his other shoulder, or is going in tomorrow, got his other shoulder cleaned out. But other than that, really everybody, here's what I was really excited about. Watching our guys run around yesterday, coming off a spring break. Obviously, you're a little nervous, that guys maybe, how much did they do, but it was great to see what shape they came back in. Just seeing what they did kind of working out yesterday and that kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see the tempo of practice today. One of the things kind of going back and reviewing those first couple days, you all right? Ball security over there. Okay, no fumbles today, all right? But I tell you what, guys, we're fast. I mean, we got guys that can really run. It really has stood out. And the way that they've approached the practices, it's something that gets you kind of really excited as a coach. And well, it's fun to see guys competing, flying around, playing their tails off, and that's been really good. Big key this week, we'll go no pads again one more time, today. We'll get some shells on here, Thursday, and then, of course, we're not practicing on Friday, and for good reason. And then we'll go Saturday. I was bummed out to see, I think our tip-off time's like at 3:10. That'll be right when you guys have to watch the first couple practices or first couple periods, so we won't do a press conference on Thursday because you guys should be watching the hoop game, all right? But I'm excited to get those pads on towards the end of the week and really see how the guys on the offensive line. It's been fun to watch the new coaches work and just kind of the energy that they're working with at all those spots. It's been fun to see, and this being spring break for a lot of schools, getting a lot of visitors here. Recruits, 18s, 19s, 20s coming through. That's been really good, and our guys are doing a great job of staying in contact and getting guys up here. So fun to see them, and it's interesting every time one of those guys comes, especially multiple visitors. that have been here multiple times, that every time they come, they see something new, and that's a credit to what we're doing, as a program and really as a university, as far as pushing forward with the facilities and a lot of the things. It's something new every time for them, and that's something that our guys that have been through have kind of commented on. So with that, we had a great spring break. Was able to visit and see my 95-year-old mother. She's doing great, and that's something that it's pretty special. And so now we're ready to get back after it. But questions? You know what? That was dumb. Jeez, that won't be the only time. Yeah, that's a good point.
That's true.
That's a good point.
All right.
We had a great conversation just about the games that she would go watch, and it being kind of basketball tourney there back in the state of Montana. The high school basketball tournaments were going on, and her just kind of recounting some games and that kind of stuff. That was pretty special. So, what do we have?
I'm first, apparently. So, Luke, you said this is shoulder surgery tomorrow on the other one, the right
Yeah,
one?
and it's going in to clean it up. I'm telling you guys, I can't. You've heard me say it before, but this guy played, didn't bow out. And here's a good thing: we're going in and getting him fixed right. And
When do you expect him back, and what do you think that means for him in the fall?
no, he'll be fine. It's not major, you know what I mean? Just going in and fixing the other one that's broken. So, yeah.
Jim, what do you think about spring break and how many of your guys, it seemed like they really put in work? I mean, they were posting pictures of working out, and it really seemed like they spent some of their time on the football field, even though there was a break.
No, I tell you, I just like I kind of opened with, I was really proud of them, and we asked them to, take some workouts with them and make sure they come back, and they took it to heart. And a lot of them got together in certain areas that they were at. Some guys worked out, obviously, a lot of them at their their high schools or whatever, and seeing, I could see that there was a lot of guys got a lot done over the break, and I think that speaks a little bit kind of why I'm so excited about this team is, they really have focused on what they need to do to get better, and part of that is accepting the responsibility to keep pushing yourself, and that's what we've seen.
You've been around a lot of teams and a lot of spring breaks. Was that uncommon at all? I mean, most guys go to the beach for a week.
And probably what I'd have done, as a college guy. But these guys are all from around the beach anyway, so that's nothing new, right? But at the same time, I think it just shows their kind of commitment, want, their willingness to accept responsibility to go get yourself better, and that's something that we, as a program have stressed, and these guys are really getting after it. It's great to see.
Thomas?
You talked at one point last season about being a little bit predictable on offense. I'm wondering, after you had a chance to kind of go back and review the season, were there any ways that you found that you can tinker with that?
Yeah, no, I think one of the things is that you find yourself kind of getting in a little bit of a kind of a rut, and all of a sudden, well, you can't do this, you can't do that because they're doing this, and that kind of thing, rather than, it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. Let's continue to grow and be creative, and it's been good with the new guys coming in as well. Just new thoughts, new way of looking at things, that kind of stuff. So not as concerned in spring with schemes as we are about guys getting individually and fundamentally better. That's the age-old approach, and yet there's a lot of new things that we're doing that's kind of fun to see.
Kind of playing into that then, how much will it help then if you can get players at certain positions, running back, tight end, to improve their all-around game in terms of blocking?
Yeah, that's huge, obviously. And then the decision-making, you know, behind center as far as getting that thing out and getting it out on time. And you know, I've been happy with what those guys have been doing so far. Now, it's only been 2 practices. It's been in underwear. We got another underwear practice today, and then we'll, you know, see kind of, you know, they won't be live, but we're not going to be shy away about making sure that they understand they can't sit back there forever. So,
What's your very early impression of Tony at quarterback?
you
I know
know,
it's early. but-
Yeah, no, I think there's going to be some things we're going to be able to do with him in some package, a lot like we were doing with Dre a little bit, only more so that he really, you know, has been a quarterback. So I think that he pulled one down and took one very quickly to the end zone from a ways away and caught the eyes of not only us as coaches but the team. So. Well, these guys must be worried about their brackets, which I don't blame you.
I know you won't give us too much detail here, but
Well, oh, there's the old, yeah, there it is. There's the disclaimer right there. All right, go ahead.
I'm learning. I'm evolving here.
I got you.
Are there ways, though, that you see the defense, you see Randy's impression on the defense different than Jeff's?
You know, I think here's a good thing is that there's a really good carryover, obviously, because they were all speaking the same language. Obviously, he's putting his, you know, twists on it and his stamp on it. But there again, I think one of the big things we need to do, and it's something we've talked about, we've got to establish a consistent pass rusher that we don't need to always pressure, you know, to you know, create havoc. And so it's really kind of a big thing for us is developing that edge guy that some, you know, you kind of have to go, hey, we got to worry about this guy, right? And figure out how to get matchups along the front. I think Randy and Coach Rump both are doing a great job with that. And you know, it's the guys have. I think the continuity is something that really helps. And then, you know, bringing, you know, a couple new voices, you know, on that side, and obviously with Skip and Corey, there again, just adding some things that it's fun to see them work. And our guys have obviously, you know, losing Jeff, I'm excited for him, and the guy's a heck of a coach. But moving forward, you know, having that same kind of voice and routine, I think really helps our guys.
Along those lines, Voshan mentioned that the calls were being spread around different guys. Is that just because David's out this spring, or is that a new way that you guys are approaching communication?
No, it's again, we talk constantly about communicate, and it can't just be one person. It's got to be echoed throughout, and everybody's got to take responsibility, and that's on both sides of the ball. And so, but it's good. I'm glad that he brought that up, because that's he was a guy that early, you know, when you're unsure, you usually don't talk. Well, you can tell when a guy's talking and communicating, he knows what he's doing, and then in turn that shows confidence with the guys around him. So it's something that Randy and the defensive guys have done a really good job of focusing on, and you can see it and hear it out of practice.
Thomas.
We've talked to you about Franks and Tony a good bit. Where is Kyle Trask at in terms of his development, and he got those under center snaps kind of ironed out?
Yeah, no, he put a couple on the ground, got me a little angry, and yet it's always, understand this, it's never the center's fault, it's always the quarterback's fault, okay? So, and that's how I approach it. And, but he had a couple, and yet, you know, nothing that was earth-shattering from that standpoint. And yet, his understanding on where to go with the ball, that's what I'm impressed with, is, you know, his cerebral approach. And, you know, now the big thing is we've got to cut it loose a little quicker. You can't see it, you got to anticipate it. And every young quarterback, that's something that they kind of go through. So you can see him mentally going through where he needs to go. His eyes are in the right place, you know, on the initial pre-snap reads. I mean, all that kind of stuff is really good. Now we just need to cut it loose a little faster.
Nick?
It looked like the players got rings when you had your Sunday
Team
meal
dinner,
coming back,
yeah.
team dinner. What was that like, just seeing them and what they accomplished and getting something visual or something to have from that?
You know, and you know, as a group, you know, well-deserved. You know, they back-to-back SEC champs, you know, in the East, and that's something that is no small feat. And then for me, the way they approached the bowl game, you know, it was more of a, you know, a bowl game type deal that you know what, they approached it with the right mindset to go win a game. And that's, I think it's one of those things that shows a sense of accomplishment, and you know, they're always excited to get some bling, you know.
Matt?
Since you've been here, you've talked about kind of the other quarterback packages. I think it was the gator tail that you used a little bit the first year, and then the playing with Massey last year, and then with Tony. When did that become when and how did that become part of your repertoire?
You know, we did it back, actually, we had, back at Eastern Washington, it goes, in fact, you'll see them out there. The Eastern Washington staff's here. I'm excited to see the Eagles running around. And, yeah, they came all the way out here, and they're staying at my house, and we put them in the garage. So you might want to ask them about that. Yeah, they're sleeping in my garage. That's what you do at that level. You just, it's because you can't afford a hotel room, so, you know, yeah, they're sleeping in the garage. But,
Is it a nice garage?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, we, you know, we got some blow-ups. I gave them, you know, said, here, there's your blow-up. So, it's amazing how you don't get spoiled when you're at those places. You know, you appreciate all the little things. But we did that same thing with a guy by the name of Torcy Smith back then, and kind of done it a little bit everywhere we were. Not as much at Montana State. When you know, when we were at Louisville, we had a thing for Stephon LaFleur's, you know, with him and Rags, and then at Michigan State, with Drew Stanton, when he was kind of the backup, we did some things there too. So it's kind of been a little bit of everywhere. And you know, we didn't do it with a quarterback type when I was at Alabama. We did it with Ingram and Richardson, you know, and Eddie. So we did it with a true kind of running back where kind of the pass threat wasn't there. We did it a little bit with Marquise Mays, who was a wideout that was a high school quarterback, and we had some things that we did with him when we were there. So, you know, we've used it kind of a little bit everywhere we've been.
Why do you like that?
I think it's something that gives the defense something else to kind of have to focus on and work on, and it gives you a change of pace back there. I don't know. Get bored sometimes too. It's kind of fun to do. But
Anything else, Nick?
What kind of energy or attitude has Coach Sider brought? It seems the players have really taken to what he wears, which is maybe more like them and less like you. And what have you seen from him?
is it that bad?
No, you look fine.
Yeah, I gotta.
We've adjusted to the no socks.
Yeah, no. In fact, I see he doesn't wear socks all the time. you know, I can't speak to what he wears. I mean, he dresses appropriately in the office. So, but I think all those guys just, you know, their excitement to be here and their energy that they bring is something that's been a lot of fun to see.
Thomas.
What will you be looking for when the pads go on, particularly down in the trenches?
To me, the huge thing is going to be, are we going to play with pad level, and are we going to allow ourselves to finish and not kind of get there and then stop? Big key there to me is are we going to climb to the second level when we need to? On the defensive front, you know, are we going to get that second step in the ground and control blockers and get our hand placement where we need to and that kind of thing, and not pick a side, you know, those type of things. I think, but I'm excited to see our guys finish.
Anything else, guys?
You gonna keep the goat?
You know, I don't know. I'll leave that up to my wife. How's that? Thanks, guys.